no screen time. And that little change, something he was afraid to do because he was confident he was going to miss something, has led him to feeling much greater peace throughout the day because that busyness that he was experiencing went away because he was able to focus on what was most important.
The high five in the mirror, to me, exemplifies a small change in mindset. It's giving yourself the permission, in this case, high-fiving the mirror, to have confidence, start the day in a positive note, that you're not going to be beaten down by the endless noise of the world we live in. Yeah, one simple thing, change mindset and, conquer the fear. If you're uncomfortable, then you're probably heading in the right direction.
Welcome to the Truest Fan Blueprint. Robb Brown here, along with my partner, Phil Calandra. We're excited to be with you today because we're going to talk about a great topic, embracing change. It's been on my mind a lot lately because as I've been working with advisors and just talking to people in different things that I'm involved in, I'm struck by the reluctance to not only embrace change, but even to accept or consider change. Phil, are you running into the same thing?
This is a topic that fascinates me, and I'm reminded, first off, something my grandfather taught me probably 40 years ago. There's nothing more permanent than change. It's coming at us in every aspect of our life. So why do we resist it? And it's a one-word answer. It's a one-syllable answer. Fear. We're afraid. Anytime something of change comes at you, it doesn't matter if it's in your family and your business pursuits, spiritually, we're afraid. We don't want to get uncomfortable. And that's what prevents people from embracing and going through change. And it's going to be forever. That's the human nature. It's the world we live in. So I think this is an important topic to discuss.
It absolutely is. And to speak to it at a very practical level, Phil, as you know, I just finished writing a blog post about a client who had a very successful technique for networking with other professionals that he absolutely enjoyed and had great success for years. But then for some reason, and we still can't quite explain it, his results started to diminish, and he decided he needed to look for something else. He just decided, I'm going to find that next silver bullet solution. Doesn't matter if I have to spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 for it. Anything has to be better than what I'm currently doing. And
right.
As his coach, I just kind of had to listen and go along and let him explore. I can't tell somebody what to do as their coach. I can only guide them. But I would consistently say, Jack, what you've got to do is think that maybe it's just your mindset, the way that you're approaching this thing that you like to do that needs to be adjusted. Maybe it had become stale. And he goes, no, that can't be it. That can't be it. And then finally, he said, I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to try some new ways of approaching my professional networking, but I'm going to go into it with a positive mindset, a positive attitude. I'm not going to be afraid of not getting results. And of course, as luck and hard work would have it, a few weeks later, he brings in 5 new 7-figure opportunities just by doing what he had done, but taking a different approach and sticking to it. So yeah. Sometimes, it's just that small change that can produce big results. And we've got to understand that the changes that we look for sometimes aren't as great as we make them out to be.
Absolutely. Well, that's the saying, small hinges swing big doors. Yeah. And that's absolutely true in so many areas of our life. And I think a lot of it develops from mindset, right? We've talked about that before. I'm sure we'll talk about it again. somebody's mindset about a given topic or given subject starts to breed within themselves. The motivation, second, the discipline and the persistence to keep plowing through in the direction, like I believe it's what keeps us from trying different things in a lot of cases is fear. If you're scared to make that little tweak or that little change, then you're probably on the right track. If it's scaring you just enough, then you know that action, all success in life comes from acting, all failure comes from reacting. But if your little nudge, right, we hear that in our subconscious, if it's just fearful, if it's just a little scary, then you're probably on the right track. Then you need to develop in yourself the discipline. That's where coaching comes in, having a good support network around you, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a loved one, business partners, to help you continue to explore. And like you said, Rob, it doesn't have to be some earth-shattering. In most cases, it's not. It's always the small things that we can do. It's like dieting or your physical fitness, right? I talk often about my experience doing Ironman triathlons and 9 marathons. I was a above average athlete, but never had done any magnitude or massive endurance event. And how do you get to the finish line of a 140-mile Ironman? The first step. You take one step, you take 2 steps. It's the small things that you change, and that develops the outcome that you want in any area.
Yeah, that's a great point and a great example. Although maybe to some, I know to me that sounds daunting, but I don't have any desire to be a triathlete.
It's a little bit nutty, that's for sure.
But I'm thinking of another conversation that I had with a client a few weeks ago who was feeling totally overwhelmed because he was just so busy in his business. And I looked at the situation. I said, the problem is you're thinking about it too much. I said, turn your phone off at 7 o'clock. Stop looking at that blue screen. Stop filtering through all of these ideas that you're seeing on social media that you think can fix your busyness. Get away from it for a while. And
right.
He spent a couple of weeks turning off his phone at 7 p.m. and not turning it on again until he was ready to actually go to work. So 12-ish hours of no screen time. And that little change, something he was afraid to do because he was confident he was going to miss something, has led him to feeling much greater peace throughout the day, because that busyness that he was experiencing went away because he was able to focus on what was most important. That small little change, being brave enough to try it. Turning off your cell phone doesn't seem like something that should be brave, but they can be addictive.
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely is. And I think that's part of the problem now in the culture that we live in, the society that we live in. We live in a 24/7, minute by minute pounding, if you're on any social media, and everybody's telling you how to get rich quick, how easy it is. And I would argue it's not easy. It is simple, right? The rules of success, no matter what you choose, are really very simple. They're not easy because in a lot of cases it goes against human nature. But I think our culture, our society is so beaten down by this minute by minute, 24/7 bombardment of ideas. And, we talk about it, it's, the silver dot syndrome, right? We're always looking, we're reacting instead of acting very simply on the things that are small in nature, but create massive change over time. It's like turning the Titanic, right? It's one little shift that makes that cruise liner go completely 100 miles in another direction. But it's not a major turn. It's the little shift that makes the big impact.
And so, Phil, one of the things that we try to do on our podcast is give our listeners a way to take action. So and we didn't talk about this ahead of time, so feel free to disagree with me. But I think one of the other things that we need to think about when we talk about embracing change is we can't change everything all at once. That we may want to make some changes in our
Agreed.
business, in our life, in our relationship with God. Who knows what it might be? But it's hard to change everything at the same time. And even if we focus on one area, we're tempted to try multiple things. So I would suggest is that if there's something that our listeners are thinking about in their business, in their life, they would like to change, the action point should be pick one thing, pick one area, and then pick one small thing that you can change. Put that into action and let that cause the momentum to move forward for a more complete change or extended change. A great example of this is I was reading about a technique of a morning high five that you give yourself. And a lot of people struggle. I know I do some days struggle to kind of get up with energy and get going. Phil, I don't think you do. You seem to always especially in the morning, like to get going. But
I'm a morning person.
But the idea was to look yourself in the mirror, put your hand up against the mirror for 5 seconds, and tell yourself how awesome you are. So if maybe you're struggling with self-belief, you don't recognize what a great person God created in you, maybe it's time to just build on that self-belief by looking in the mirror, giving yourself a high five for 5 seconds, and just talking about all the good things that you're doing in this world, or to help your family, or to grow your business. But that can be, it can sound terrifying. Who wants to look at themselves in the mirror in the morning in the first place, and then give yourself a high five and talk? But anyway, just that, to me, that's an example of taking a small action towards a big result, but without having to do anything crazy.
Yeah, no, I love that. And to me, that's one little simple thing. The high five in the mirror, to me, exemplifies a small change in mindset. It's giving yourself the permission, in this case, high fiving the mirror, to have confidence, start the day in a positive note, that you're not going to be beaten down by the endless noise of the world we live in. Yeah, one simple thing, change mindset and, conquer the fear. If you're uncomfortable, then you're probably heading in the right direction.
Yeah, because experience a little discomfort in that change isn't a bad thing. So Phil, I think this is
get out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, embrace the non-comfort zone or the discomfort zone, because it's okay. Because to really accomplish important things, you almost always have to go through a period of discomfort or pain or adjustment or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So Phil, before we completely land the plane on this topic, is there anything else that you'd like to add to the discussion?
Yeah, I would say change is permanent. It's always coming at us. And to kind of hit home on the comfort zone, you will become over time, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a performer, singer, whether you're in business, presenting, you will get more and more comfortable getting out of your comfort zone. Get comfortable getting or going out of your comfort zone. And that will make all the difference. Hope that helps.
No, that absolutely helps. So thanks everybody for listening to this episode of the Truest Fan Blueprint. We look forward to seeing you or talking to you or you watching us, however you're looking at this format, in future episodes. And remember, most importantly, we're rooting for your success. Take care.